President Obama under fire not from his opponents, but from his biggest supporters. The Congressional Black Caucus blasting the president for a lack of diversity in his cabinet. But is that fair? Dr. Ben Carson is director of pediatric neurosurgery at the Johns Hopkins University and the author of America the Beautiful. He joins us. Nice to see you, Doctor.
Nice to see you. Thanks.
Doctor, the Congressional Black Caucus is giving the president a bit of a hard time about the number of African Americans in his cabinet. Is that fair to the president?
Well, you know, people do things based on their priorities. And it doesn't mean, you know, that he is not interested in diversity. It just means that that's not one of his greatest priorities right now.
Does it say something about the priorities of the Congressional Black Caucus?
Well, yes, obviously it does. Probably it would be a good idea for them to engage him in some conversations and talk about what their goals are and what his goals are and see if they can mesh. Just like just about everything up on Capitol Hill, a little bit of open, honest conversation could go a long way.
Doctor, for years I did poverty work in the middle of a large city here in Washington, D.C., and my clients, almost 99% of them were African American. And so, you know, this issue of inner city poverty is one that I've been very interested in for decades. I'm curious, do you have any thoughts on how to sort of break that cycle of the horrible poverty and unemployment in these inner cities? Because whatever we're doing right now is not working.
Yes, I've thought about it frequently. And what we have to do, first of all, is make sure that we give people opportunities. You can lead a horse to water, obviously you can't make them drink it. But we need to make sure that the water is there for them to drink. And one of the things that we don't need to do is enable people. You know, in the 60s, you know, the Great War on Poverty, there were so many programs that were enacted that I think cripple people and decrease their desire to escape from certain situations. And that's not productive. So we need to make sure that they want to escape and then provide them with a mechanism to do so. Reward them when they do so. More and more people will begin to see that there is a way out, that a lot of it has to do with their own work, but also with the fact that people are willing to give them opportunities. And one of the things that you're just talking about here in terms of the president and whether his cabinet looks diverse or not, one has to actually set goals and say, we want to make sure that we have a society and a workforce that's reflective of the society. You know, regrettably, you can probably send a camera out to the community and find someone who says, you know, I want all my free stuff. And that then goes on the TV, and some people think that that's what people in the inner city want. That's not been my experience. I've seen they want to educate their children. The majority of them, they want the opportunities. They want their kids to grow up and have a better life than they have. What you say about the opportunity is important, but how do you actually, you know, do the nuts and bolts? How do we transform a community that has had so many, you know, entitlements and those programs that may have crippled them, in your words? How do we sort of engage it into the other direction and give them the opportunity? Well, first of all, you have to make people aware, people in the business community, people who do the hiring, that they're actually doing themselves a favor when they create opportunities for people to escape from poverty, because those are people they don't have to pay for in the penal system or the welfare system, and they become tax-paying, productive members of society who can buy the products that you make. So the more such people that we produce, the better off we're going to be. So they have to be the ones who really buy into this, so there's some education there. But at the same time, we need to bring personal responsibility back into the equation. There is no question that there is a segment of our society that likes to keep people in a subservient position by giving them everything. And that has nothing to do with whether they're African American or whether they're any other race. You know, that's human nature. So you want people to have a desire to move forward. You don't want people to be complacent in a situation where they are and enable them to be that way. Dr. Carson, thank you. I think you're my first neurosurgeon on the air, but even more importantly, you're the first Presidential Medal of Freedom winner, which is the highest civilian honor that you got from President Bush. So it's fun to have you on the air. Thank you, sir. Thank you.